Hey, today we are at the Oklahoma Railway Museum, or for most of us, the Train Museum. It is a great place. As you can tell, it's going to be mostly outdoor because the trains are outdoors. The gates for this are usually open every day until 5 p.m., even if the official train station building is not open, which I believe that is the weekend. We'll check around and see if we can find the exact times for the train station building. But other than that, everything should be available for us to take a look around. So let's go take a look. As you come up the main driveway to the parking lot, you are greeted by this building. It appears to be like an old train station building that was transported here from somewhere else. I didn't see any signage on it to tell me more about it, but it does look like it's possibly being used for either storage or an office of some sort, but there's really nothing here to tell me anything about it. You can see behind this building there is a turntable actually sitting there. This turntable was brought here in 2017 with the hopes of it being restored. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to just stay here for quite a while. It's kind of acting as a shed for the stuff stored under it. And also on the other side of the main roadway coming in, there are these paintings attached to the fence. And then at the entrance, there is a truck here with a sign that explains the different parts of the truck. And there is a V12 locomotive engine, or at least I guess the engine block, to show you the vast size, the huge size of one of the locomotive engines. Now, let me put my hand up against this so you can see how big that cylinder is. Look at it. My hand is so tiny compared to where the cylinder would have been. And we'll walk around, stand next to the piston that would go inside the cylinder, and you can see how big a piston is. This is the main train platform. To the left is where there are some passenger cars that you can ride, and to the right is the rest of the museum property where the train pieces, train cars, locomotives, and other things are that you can see. This is one of the train cars that you can ride on. It was a flat car that they put some benches on for you to sit on for the ride. Now, just in front of this is a silver passenger car that you can ride inside of, and there is another passenger car in front of that you can also ride in. This is looking inside a passenger car. Just some basic normal seats. And it appears as though they have handicap access using these lifts to lift wheelchairs. And these are some baggage carts that they're restoring or have restored and are on display on the main train platform. This locomotive is one of the nicest looking pieces here. This appears as though it may actually be operational, or it might just be painted really well to look operational. I don't really know. And now we continue on into the rest of the main yard, where we just see various pieces at various states of, I don't know if we can call it restoration. Inside this car, they also have a model railroad set up inside of here. And again, it's another piece that looks like it could use a little more TLC. And we have a few more pieces of yard equipment stacked up. And it's just interesting. Behind that, we've got this set up and a caboose. And the interior of the caboose seems to have been preserved. I'm not sure if restored is the case. It may have just been in decent shape. Either way, you can actually look inside of this caboose and see what the housing conditions would have been like if this was your caboose, one that you would ride on. So here we can see just what it looked like. There are some bunk beds off to the left. There's a little kitchen area and some seating in here. All right, the Santa Fe, this is really interesting because every hobby store had this engine available for your model train set back in the day. As I read their website, this is a static piece is what they call it, which I believe means it's not operational. And looking at the track that it's on, it does not appear to be used at all. Now this engine is in front of the main maintenance building, or the only maintenance building where I believe they do restore some of these pieces, and another piece of equipment sitting on a track. Now this set of tracks, or siding, or whatever we call it, is on the main property and runs behind that maintenance building. It's just kind of a mix-up of different pieces that are here. I'm guessing at some point the hope may be to restore these pieces, but overall, all the pieces around this museum seem to just kind of be there without any specific organization or thought to how they're done, and signage explaining the different pieces is pretty rare. Now this piece is on a track outside of the main rail where they have the train that you ride on, and it's just sitting there. I found it very interesting that one side was painted and one side was not. And then you have this locomotive sitting there as well, which is not operational. It's missing parts. And then we're taking a quick walk down a siding past the museum property where they have a lot of different cars and pieces stacked up. All of them appear to need quite a bit of repair and maintenance. So I'm guessing these are pieces that they've acquired over time and haven't gotten around to even finding room on the property for them. Now we can cross over this street coming up, and we find yet two more pieces sitting down on yet another siding. So it's just really interesting how there are kind of pieces scattered all over, some on the property, some just placed on sidings, almost like permanently deserted here, which is disappointing. And I mean no disrespect to the museum. I know it must be expensive and time consuming to restore these pieces. Here is the main train station building on the main platform where you can buy your tickets to ride the train, and there's a souvenir shop in here as well. And this is the yard office. This is where we are going to end our tour today. We looked at pretty much all the different pieces that the museum has to offer. I really hope that this was helpful for you to see what's here, and I will put a link to the website for what I call the train museum, but it's actually the railway museum. I will put a link to their website in the description so that you can look at their hours, their times, when train rides are available, and prices to ride the train.